Today I'm watching Trenton Simpson, trying to assess some of the things that didn't go as planned last year. Remembering back to preseason last year, all I heard were people saying that he's going to be a star, he's going to be a stud, all these other superlatives. And forgive me for patting myself on the back, but just in watching the film of him in preseason, a lot of the things I pointed out in the video, not so fast, came to fruition. One of the things I want to put forth in this video is that I believe Trenton grew tired as the season wore on. I'm sure he grew physically tired. I would wager he grew mentally tired. When given clear reads earlier in the season, he's very explosive, very reactive. Here you see him taking the back to the flat quickly, making a sound tackle. As the season wore on, you see him at times with more on his plate, and you can see his reaction is a little slower. I noticed particularly in the Week 10 game versus Pittsburgh, he seemed tired to me. His tackling wasn't as sure. You can see he's wearying of taking on blocks at the line of scrimmage. He still does it, but you don't see the same fervor. The times we see him out of position in coverage are often, not always, but often a result of him wanting to make a play, giving up zone responsibilities. At the same time, as I've watched a ton of him, I really enjoyed watching him. And I think there's ample evidence that he's going to bounce back this year. Third and short, I think it's 3rd and 2. Out of empty, you can see Trenton take a few steps forward to undercut what might be an in-breaking route from number 2. He's reading the quarterback who has his shoulder turned to that side. This may or may not pull him out of his drop, but he certainly gives up his coverage responsibilities. At this point, he's going to try to make a play, get downhill, and stop the quarterback from picking up the first down. If the receiver doesn't drop the football, that's a conversion. And you can see Roquan letting him know about that afterwards. Even at Clemson, he was someone who would aggressively reroute the inside receiver. You can widen the inside receiver without even laying hands on him. I think at times he's overly aggressive, although I do like the intent. You can see that here. To reroute to this extent, the receiver would have to be running much more up the seam. You can see he gets himself out of position, and you get this in-breaking route where if the quarterback is looking that way, he's got an opening. Here we get a very patient Trenton Simpson, a great read. You get misdirection in zone blocking opposite him. He stays home. We get motion across the formation from an outside receiver. Trenton picks that up. Here he gets a really nice reroute, moving him out of the seam, and then flies to the flat, breaking up this pass and making a sound tackle. These are the plays that excite you watching him. I'm sure the Ravens want him to be more disciplined in his drops. You see his eyes off the ball, check the number 1 receiver. Here they want him in this hook curl, but they also want him cognizant of the route behind him, taking away the dig. This is discipline here. This is discipline. The quarterback leaves the pocket. He gets out of that window. He's reading the quarterback and driving on this hitch. That dig window opens up. And there's a conversion and a big gain. I will say, as you watch this, it sure looks like the quarterback is past the line of scrimmage when he gets rid of the football. This 3-receiver surface set up by a shift to that side creates a ton of confusion. You can see it pre-snap, not by Trenton. Really nice play by Trenton here. And in a sense, they're targeting that part of the field. You get a shallow run by one and Trenton making an undercall. You get a dig by the tight end inside, a drive concept. And you get a post by the middle receiver that comes open if the quarterback sees him. All of this is really intending to set up the back, releasing to the flat. You can see the quarterback reading that, and Trenton doesn't fall for that. Trenton makes an undercall, leaves that responsibility, takes the back to the flat. The Ravens get a sack. This looks like a 3-match coverage to me. Trenton needs to not just reroute the tight end here, but match the receiver and play the low shoulder and undercut this in-breaking route. Pretty poor job by 40. This is week 10. He played 85% of the defensive snaps. It drops to 43% the next week, 39% the following, and 7% of the defensive snaps played the week after that. Coach Orr didn't call it a benching, he called it a reset. I do think that's something that Trenton needed. You can see him kind of wearing down in this game. Although throughout this game and throughout the season, there's a ton of stuff that's encouraging as I watch Trenton. Watch him get into his drop here. You see his eyes turn to pick up these routes outside. 21 picks up the out route by 21. Watch Trenton again. Check that route right there. As it breaks in, he matches it, moves with it, taking away the throw. Ball comes out, and he rallies to the football. Trenton Simpson doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to stop studying, to stop working in the offseason. If anything, you know he's going to work even harder to become more instinctive, more intuitive. Really like what we see here out of Trenton. This is 3rd and short, quick game concept. He's at the line of scrimmage. At the line of scrimmage, watch him drop and get underneath this quick out by the number 2 receiver. Take that away. Then check the routes behind him and cover the flat. Again, the ball's going to come out. Kyle gets pushed off. He's going to rally and make the tackle. Trenton does a nice job here of not overcommitting to this outside zone play action. We see him shuffle and not overrun. And then pick up 80 coming across the formation in man. It may be that he and Teddy Buchanan are a perfect tandem in rotation next to Roquan this season. But my expectation is that you'll see a more patient and improved Trenton Simpson in 2025. I'll finish off with him in run defense. I think every clip in this video has been pass defense, so we want to show some proper linebacker stuff here. Trenton's going to meet the guard at the line of scrimmage, sink and roll his hips, fire his hands into the chest of the guard, and then rip down, close up that gap, and make the tackle.